Hey everybody, Alan Bestwick here. Time to crawl out of my little mailbox and answer the questions you put in it about American men's basketball. Jay on Instagram leads us off. He wants to know who'd make up my all-conference first team. Jay, I hate these types of questions because out of 12 teams and 60 starters, how do you pick just 5 players? It's very tough, but you asked, I'll give it a shot. First player, Jaden Gardner of East Carolina. Now Gardner leads the conference in scoring, he's 4th in rebounds, and every time he goes on the court, he's putting up solid performances. Gardner is in. Jaron Cumberland of Cincinnati is also on my list. Cumberland was the preseason pick for Player of the Year in the American, and he's overcome maybe a little adjustment period to new coaches and a new system to really get rolling in conference play. The senior is 2nd in scoring, 2nd in assists, and 2nd in three-point field goal percentage, and is a shoo-in for my first team. They usually have separate awards for freshmen, but I'm going to put one on my all-conference first team, Precious Achiuwa of Memphis. The 6'9" first-year player has been everything Tiger fans hoped for, leading the conference in rebounding, 2nd in blocks, and 4th in scoring. Experiencing the bumps and bangs of conference play for the first time doesn't really seem to have slowed Precious down much either. I'm going to go with Kendrick Davis of SMU as a first-teamer. After transferring crosstown from TCU, Davis has been a real spark plug for the Mustangs this season. He leads the conference in assists and assist-turnover ratio. He plays unselfishly and does his share of scoring for the Mustangs too, so Davis is on my team. So that's 4, and I can only have 5, right? All right, well, Nate Hinton of Houston makes my first team also. Nate's 3rd in the American in rebounding, leads the conference in offensive rebounds, and is tied for 3rd in defensive rebounds. Now, Houston is such a team style of play, it was hard to separate one player out of the mix, but Hinton's play has been vital to the Cougs' success, and when your team's fighting for the conference championship, that's worthy of inclusion here. All right, next question. Following up on that, Phil on Instagram wants to know who would be my Player of the Year pick in the American. Right now, it's Jaden Gardner. I look at Player of the Year sort of as a most valuable player award. Like, without this guy, this team would be very different. And even though the Pirates are a sub-500 team, as second-year coach Joe Dooley works at rebuilding the program, for me, Gardner's the MVP. Figure he's drawing the opponent's best defender night after night, and yet still putting up double-figure points, and most nights, 20 points, and double-figure rebounds or near to it every night. This Pirate's making people say both "arg" and "ah" every night. Tim on Instagram wants to know what's been behind Cincinnati's turnaround from its early season struggles. Well, Tim, first and foremost, time to adapt. Mick Cronin was the Bearcats head coach for 13 seasons. John Brannon hasn't even been the Cincinnati coach for 13 months. It's a new voice in players' ears, new terminology, and a new system to adapt to, plus some new players to fold into the experienced group that had been there already. What you see in Cincinnati right now is a team that's hitting its stride at the right time, no doubt, just like Coach planned it. Will it be enough to keep the Bearcats' consecutive string of NCAA tournament bids going? Well, they have opportunities to make that case this month. Nate on Instagram wants to talk about USF and playing tough despite losing Alexis Yetna right before the season. Well, it's never a good thing to lose one of your best players for a game or two, let alone the season. Yetna was a preseason second-team all-conference pick in the American and is pretty much considered one of the top big men in the conference, so losing a guy of that size and skill certainly changed things for Brian Gregory. USF's had to ramp up its defensive aggressiveness without Yetna's shot-blocking presence inside. And finding other ways to score, well, that's been an adjustment too. But the Bulls haven't given up any of their fight despite the adversity and the forced style change, which I think is a credit to both players and coaches. And finally, Alan, hi Alan, from Alan, wants to talk about the fight for the top 4 spots in the conference tournament and how much of a difference getting that bye will make. Well, how many times during a college basketball season do teams play on back-to-back days? It's pretty rare, right? But in a conference tournament, that's what you face. So do you think your team has a better shot playing 3 back-to-backs or 4? Earning that bye by finishing top 4 in the regular season means that in your tournament opener, you've got an energy advantage. You're rested and playing a team that just played yesterday afternoon or evening. History tells us that the difference between being 4th seed or 5th is huge in terms of how deep you can go in the tournament. All right, that's this week's mailbag. You don't have to wait till we ask for your questions. Got one to send in? Send it anytime. That's how you reach us. And we'll see you again next week on Ask Alan.